So Nikola Jokic is easily one of my favorite players in the NBA. And with that being said, in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this Nikola Jokic build on NBA 2K25. And this build is definitely set up for success in the future because the cap breakers will make this build even more insane. Now, I know there's a lot of people asking me for jump shots in every single build video that I do, and I'm just going to give you guys a heads up right now. I'm not giving you guys a jump shot in this video either, simply because I don't feel confident with any of the jump shots that I've used yet to be willing to give you guys something to use. So with that in mind, let's get started with today's video. Let's go. All right, so getting straight into the my player builder, we're going to be going with the center position, height 7 foot, weight 269 pounds with a 7 foot wingspan. Now you can make this build at 6'11", that is Nikola Jokic's height, but you're going to get way more attributes to make this build more possible at the height of 7 foot. All right, so now the close shot is going to be an 89 on this build. That is simply just brought up by the mid-range and post control rating. So we're gonna have an 89, get your hook specialist on gold. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys, post hooks aren't really that great this year. They're like almost impossible to time for even just open hook shots. Like well-known post scorers, well-known people that use and abuse post hooks every single year aren't doing post hooks. So that goes to show that post hooks are just pretty much dead this year. Driving layup, now honestly, this is probably something that if you want to make a change with the build, you absolutely can, because Nikola Jokic does have his own layup style. You need a 78 driving layup to do it, so you could probably go a little bit higher. Driving dunk's just going to be a pretty low rating. We're going to have an 81 standing dunk, though, to get the basic big man standing contact dunks and silver rise up. Now, for the post control, now here's where we get our money's worth when it comes to finishing. We're going to have a 90 post control, which is going to get us post fade phenom on Hall of Fame, post up powerhouse on gold, as well as post up poet on gold. Now, when it comes to the finishing clips, we don't have a crazy amount, but right here, got two-way tenacity. This guard's going to set me in a screen. It's basically an inverted pick and roll. We're going to drive right to the baseline, get an easy layup to go in. Now, right here in the post, we're just going to spin past this guy, get a nice standing dunk in the paint. And then here in the park, we're going to back down this guard out the corner, and then we're going to hit him with the post hop shot. Other person tries to help, but it's still wide open. All right, so now moving on to the shooting, where we're going to have a 94 mid-range shot for post fade phenom on legend. And then we also get badges like set shot specialist, Hall of Fame, Deadeye on gold as well on this build. And then we're going to have an 86 three-pointer just because we like maxing out the three-pointers when we make these like stretch big type of builds. All right, so now moving on to the shooting, and this is where we're actually going to have a whole lot of clips. And as you can see in this first clip right here, we're using the Nikola Jokic uppers with this jump shot. And again, don't really feel confident with any jump shot that I was using, so just use Nikola Jokic uppers on whatever your favorite base is, and you can kind of get the vibes for what's going on here. But as you can also see in the bottom left hand of the screen, I am using right stick rhythm shooting for pretty much every single shot I go up with nowadays. It's kind of hard to just use the X button. I've just become so accustomed to using right stick at this point, so I'm using right stick for post fades, hop jumpers, catch and shoots. And one other thing too, I apologize for like 2 or 3 of these clips that were like skipping frames super crazy, but we're kind of back to the smooth gameplay now. For some reason, my capture quality just kind of took a dip in one game, but there were a couple of decent clips and I still want to use them. But yeah, once again, man, wide open catch and shoot, you're going to be knocked down with this player. And as you can see in the top right hand corner of the screen on this clip as well, I'm using set shot specialist on legend. I'm using my max +1 to put set shot specialist all the way maxed out. And some park clips really quickly. Now, I do want to point out in these park clips, this was kind of like when I first made the build. And also, I really wasn't fully tapped into using right stick rhythm shooting just yet. So at this point, I was really just using X button for everything else. But after really labbing the right stick rhythm shooting, I still think that that's going to be the way to go for me. Even though with catch and shoot, sometimes you can get a bit of a load up if you time the right stick too soon. But now moving on to the playmaking, we're going to have a 94 pass accuracy, which is going to get you break starter Hall of Fame as well as bailout on gold. And the big thing with going 94 pass accuracy is because of cap breakers. Now, when I eventually do get my first set of cap breakers, I could, if I want to, put my pass accuracy all the way up to a 99 and get every passing badge on legend, which includes break starter, versatile visionary, bailout, and dimer as well. You get dimer on legend as well with this build. Now, in all the passing clips you're going to see, I was using the max +1 on dimer, so all of my passes had legend dimer tapped into them, and I gotta say, people were still missing their shots. So hey, it is what it is. Now, this is the one thing I really like with this Jokic build, and we kind of briefly mentioned it with the 94 pass accuracy. There is potential with this build to have cap breakers set up in the future. So this build is future proof. This build was made with cap breakers in mind, because I think the first set of cap breakers is relatively easy to get. You just have to hit, I believe it's starter 2 or starter 3 to get the cap breakers, so it doesn't take too long to get those. Matter of fact, I've already hit starter 2, so like, yeah, I'm 1 rep away from already getting my first set of cap breakers, and I'm probably going to use it on pass accuracy so I can get that 99 pass accuracy on a Jokic build, which I think will be really, really cool to have. But that's not going to be the only 99 we have on this build when we eventually get cap breakers, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on in this video. I know some people looking at the build probably saw that we didn't put any ball handle on the build, and they're probably wondering why I didn't do that, because Jokic can definitely put the ball on the floor if he wants to. And genuinely, I think it's because the animations that you get with the normal dribble moves are good enough. And secondly, when I'm on a Jokic build, my mindset is usually always to put my back to the basket first, play make out of the post, do some pick and rolls, pick and pop. It's rare that I'm going to put the ball on the floor, and it's also kind of hard to really score off the dribble on like a big man build like this with dribble moves, because there really isn't a whole lot of speed boosting. So I just prefer trying to score out of the post, and I just didn't think it was too necessary to put a whole lot of ball handle on this build. Now, I do also want to point out that although we have super high pass accuracy on this build, that is not going to save you from getting passing lane stolen on, especially in fast break situations. You're definitely still going to have to be very careful when throwing the break, because passing lane steals are very good in this year's game. There are some instances where pass accuracy can kind of help you out in those situations, but it's definitely not a 100% foolproof method to make sure that you don't throw passing lane steals. All right, so now moving on to the defense, we're going to have a 74 interior defense for post move lockdown on bronze, a 62 perimeter defense for immovable enforcer on bronze, a 60 steal for interceptor on bronze, and a 74 block to get paint patroller on bronze. Now, before we talk about the rebounding, you can get away with this on the defensive side of things. I have noticed when you're on bigger players with higher strength that are a little bit heavier, even when you don't have the greatest interior defense ratings, you don't get moved around a whole lot out of the post. I haven't really been drop stepped like crazy on this build, even though I don't have super crazy interior defense ratings. It's just harder to move a big body with high strength like this. Now, second thing, people are going to say, well, the 74 block, people are going to hit contested layups over you, whatnot. First and foremost, it's a Nikola Jokic build. It's not meant to be this super hyper competitive pro-am center build, and even then, most pro-am center builds even go no higher than 84 block anyways. Most center builds, for example, Hoff only goes 74. So this build is going to be perfectly fine defensively, and when it comes to contested layups going in, I hate to break it to you, contested layups are just going to go in regardless. Now, for the rebounding, we're going to have a 94 defensive rebound to get you box out beast Hall of Fame, rebound chaser on gold, and we've made this build heavy enough to where you could still get a 99 defensive rebound through cap breakers. So after your first 2 sets of cap breakers, depending on which way you want to do it, you will have 99 pass accuracy and 99 defensive rebound on a Nikola Jokic build that still has a whole lot of offense to it. Now, on the defensive side of things, I don't have a crazy amount of clips, but like I mentioned earlier, passing lane steals are really good on NBA 2K25, and you can get a whole lot done with bronze interceptor on this build. As you can see, once again, right here, we're going to get into the paint, get a block. You can still get blocks on this build. It's not like 74, you're just not going to get any blocks whatsoever. But I think this is going to be another year where high block is just probably not going to be worth it, especially with all the extra spacing on the court. It's just so hard to provide any sort of help defense without completely leaving your person wide open, which, I mean, hey, if you're guarding a popper that really can't shoot like that, that just might be what you have to do. But now here is the build fully maxed out. You can fully take a look at it right here. Now, again, let's talk about those cap breakers. Obviously, we're going to use one on pass accuracy. We're going to use one on defensive rebound. We're going to one set on each. So this build will eventually have 99 pass accuracy, 99 defensive rebound. And when it comes to what you want to do with that final set of cap breakers, you could kind of get creative with it. You could go put it into strength. It's going to get you 96 strength. It's going to get you box out beast on legend, immovable enforcer on I forget what level, but you're also going to get brick wall on Hall of Fame. So you do have some freedom with which way you want to use the cap breakers. You can put it in post control, get it up to a 95, but that's going to be pretty much it for the build. You're going to come out of the My Player Builder and get the shades of Chris Bosh, Domantas Sabonis, and Nikola Jokic, and you're going to get the build name 3-level scoring Playmaker. Now, this build was a whole lot of fun to make. It was a whole lot of fun to play on, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. With that being said, man, I'm out. Peace.